Hello everyone, a very good evening to all of you. My dear professional colleagues and the students of CA fraternity, I am CA Karan Chandwani. On behalf of the professional forum, I am here to introduce our speaker for today and the panel members for today. So, as you all know, the topic for the session, Professional 2.0 and Wellness 360-degree. As you all have already gone through the introductory lines, that it is new age competencies essential for professionals to remain relevant and thrive in the turbulent world today. And also, we'll be covering strategies for a healthy career and healthy body during this turbulent time. So, in this uncertain times of COVID-19 and even post that, the life of the professionals is going to change drastically. And that is what to sustain and survive over here and to grow, for which we had invited Meg sir with us. And I am thankful to him that he accepted our invitation on a such short notice. Sir, we are very grateful to you. Our whole professional forum is very grateful to you, sir, for this particular thing. So, before starting with the topic, let me introduce the speaker for the session. A chartered accountant, CPA, and executive business coach. He has a deep experience advising multinational companies and business leaders across India and the globe, I would say. He has helped a variety of client organizations in their business sensitive matters. His 15 years of professional journey includes leadership role at SKP, Sudhit K. Parekh and Group, and consulting roles in Big Four accounting firms, Ernst & Young, KPMG, and others. As a founder and business coach in Shunyas, he helps talent-driven service organizations in augmenting their business and leadership growth. As a professional speaker, he is invited at various other forums and various professional forums internationally, ICEI, BCCI, IE Singapore, and various other forums. He is also an author of a personal effectiveness book, Why Am I Scattered, which is available on Amazon Kindle also. So, without wasting any much time, let me just introduce you to our co-founders and panelist members for today. We have CA Anup Shah with us. We have CA Rohit Shah with us. CA Ishan Shaligram, CA Amaya Limay, and we also have CA Chandrasekhar Sarda sir, who will be joining us soon in the meanwhile. So I will directly hand over to Meg sir. Meg sir, over to you for the beautiful session which everyone is waiting.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. First of all, thank you so much, Karan and entire team, Anup, Shyam, Mrs. Chandrasekhar Sarda, Ishan. The entire team is so young, dynamic, and focused for work. And the testimony for it, this session in itself is a testimony. On Sunday, we decided to have this session with Karan, and on Tuesday, this session is happening in front of all of you. So a big kudos, first of all, to all professional forum team members here. And then my next thanks goes to all the participants here in the session. I mean, I really appreciate your time, all the viewers and participants. Your time is valuable. I'm 100% confident. And I will try, we will try our best to share only what is the most relevant stuff with you. So without really wasting your time much. So that is my assurance to you. And if Karan, you are okay, we will jump into the topic right away.
Yes, sir, please. We already have very less time to hear to you. We are
okay.
Yes, sir.
Thanks. Thanks, Karan. So possibly now I will share my screen with our viewers, and to set the tone well, this topic is important. This topic is important for not only you and me. This topic is important for everyone right now in the professional community. The world is really going through a turbulent time. The biggest question right now is how can we protect our careers? How can we protect our lives, most importantly, and how can we protect our organizations? And this is the precise topic we wanted to cover today. This session may not be as detail oriented because the time is apt and very short, but I want to cover those factors, those strategies, those areas which every one of us now need to really focus on, especially in next few months. And if we can really work on it and make tangible progress, I'm confident, we will see our next version, and that I call Professional 2.0, in next few months' time. So with this background, let me directly jump into the topic. I encourage you to please share your comments, your questions during the session itself, so that if we can cover those points in the session, nothing like it. And the session will also be more relevant and resonatable to you. So with this, thank you again for joining us, and let us go through deep dive. Okay, so to set the context, this particular speech, next one and a half hours, is relevant to you if you want to survive, sustain, and thrive. Why these three words are super important? Survive, sustain, and then thrive. This is the time to first be survived. Once we survive well, then we will sustain. And if we sustain, then only we can think of thriving. So please see the sequence here: survive, sustain, and thrive. And there is a reason why I am emphasizing again and again on these three keywords here. I need not really explain in detail here on this particular point. We are in fact passing through turbulent times in the history. I can't imagine in my entire life, of course, I'm not too old to share that it is my wisdom, but my own experience says I have not seen and experienced a situation wherein entire globe is under lockdown effectively. I have not experienced a situation wherein companies are shut down all over the globe. Few companies are working from home, few companies are completely shut down. I have not experienced a situation wherein 50% or less of the population only right now is working on productive things. This is unprecedented. And when the world was already passing through economic turmoil, even before this particular situation, now this situation has really poured oil in the fire. And I'm sure you will second to my opinion. And in this particular turbulent time, as an individual, as a professional, as a working professional, what is my situation? I'm insisting all of you individually here to just reflect back. Just think for a moment, what is my individual situation during this turbulent time? How can I make the best use of this time? And before that, how can I survive and be in the game? How can I still be relevant in the marketplace and thrive in future? These are hard-pacing questions, I'm sure. I don't want to really, start my presentation with a challenging tone, but this is the reality, and it is always better. It is the sign of wisdom to accept the reality as it is. And therefore, it is important to understand the reality when OECD, the Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, the world body, which sets standards for different accounting, economic, and taxation policies across the globe, they have categorized this particular situation as the worst financial crisis, even more than 2008 fall down in the US, and most comparable to the situation in 1920. So this is the situation. This is the reality. Worldwide, all major governments have re-looked at their GDP growth estimates. Developed nations such as the USA, Australia, and major European economies, they have estimated negative growth in the GDP. India has estimated and revised its GDP target at merely 2%. China has re-estimated its GDP growth target at 1%. These are some hardcore facts and numbers. And how does it impact us? Number one, when the flow of capital, the flow of goods, the flow of people from one country to another goes down, naturally, the economy goes down. When the domestic demand goes down, naturally, the economy goes down. And when the companies face challenge, automatically, it impacts us as a working professional, either working in the company or working for the company. So there is direct relationship between the economic outlook in the world and your and mine individual careers. And that is where we are going to spend some important time together here with few areas which in my opinion are game changers during this time. And therefore, instead of sounding pessimistic, let's act optimistic. Because as optimistic individuals, it is in our hands to raise our individual games. We need to raise our game during this time. And while the situation is challenging, this is an opportune time also. Wise people find blessings in disguise. And this is that time. This is this opportune time to really set our things well, to go to the basics and do some foundational work for ourselves. And that is the purpose of this particular speech. This particular dialogue with all of you. And here on, I am going to discuss one by one few areas which in my opinion are the most important game changers in this particular situation of crisis. So let's move ahead. Let me share those 5 areas which, if we implement well, can put our careers on the right path. And we will definitely overcome this crisis with flying colors. So let's move ahead. This is the first point. I'm sure you would be estimating what could be the first point in this game. It may sound counterintuitive also to some of you, but in my opinion, this is the starting point for a long-term work. So what is it? Having a clarity of your vision. Vision is powerful. If you have studied companies and if you have studied successful individuals, the people and the organizations which have grown leaps and bounds, all of them have started with a vision. And especially now for you and me, this crisis situation calls for go deep and find our vision, individual personal professional vision. This is the time to go deep, connect with our own selves and find out what is that vision I am striving for. This situation will not arise possibly in near future. And in this during turbulent time only, one can really find his or her center. Because anyway, there is turmoil everywhere. Why not go inside and find out my own vision, define it so clearly, put in front of my eyes so clearly that I can navigate my path looking at that vision very effectively. And therefore I say, only thing worse than being blind is having sight but no vision. I hope you resonate with my comments on having a very clear vision on yourself. I am talking about setting my destination. I am talking about, am I traveling to north or am I traveling to south? I need to know before even starting my travel, isn't it? And that therefore having a clear vision in place during this turbulent time is going to be the first foundational work for us. Now, I have shared my thoughts with you. What are we going to do about it? I am expecting you are going to take actions on these particular points. And when can we take actions? What better time than this particular lockdown, isn't it? This is the time we can put these points into action and make tangible progress. So what can we do? Let me now give some ideas to utilize this lockdown and move further on this point of vision, having a clear vision for yourself. I hope you can see the screen and I can just take you through one by one very quickly, because these are the hard pressing questions. These are not easy. They sound simple, but they are not easy. I'm sure many of us even have not gone through these questions for ourselves during entire lifetime. And this is the time to now use to answer these questions for ourselves. One, what is the definition of success for me? Where do I see 5 years from now? Where do I want to see myself after 5 years? What do I want to be remembered for in the long run? Do I want to be known for a better professional, an effective professional, or a particular professional effective in his subject matter expertise and serving best of the clients and serving best of the work? So what is the definition of success for me? Do I want to work solo with a small team, or I want to really build a big team? Do I want to work for generating employment, or I want to work for myself? Whether having a big setup will be considered a success for me, or having a big bank account will be considered success for me. So what is the definition of success for myself? I'm not going to ask this question to others, but to myself. Who are my role models and why? That is most important question. Why this question is important? Because having a role model itself denotes that I'm looking up to someone. And then for what I'm really considering that individual as my role model, that organization as my role model, those factors guide me that possibly this is what I value the most. And this can be my vision also. So having a role model and knowing why this individual or this organization is my role model is super useful. These simple questions, I'm sure if you really answer honestly during this lockdown, you will find yourself more better. You will know more about your own self. You will reveal yourself better. And possibly to guide you better in this process, I will encourage you to read this particular book, Start with Why, by Simon Sinek, so that you get some more ideas on thinking about your purpose, your why, your vision. I can go on and on this point because I know this is the foundational work one can do for long term. However, we need to move forward, no doubt about it. But I'm sure that I was able to pass on in most simple language, but the criticality of this particular point with you. Maybe I'll just check and wait for a minute and hear from possibly our participants. maybe Karan or Ameya or Anup. Is this point well clear?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Sure.
This
Okay.
is something that
Thank
will
you so much.
define our path.
Hmm.
Yes.
Hmm. Fantastic.
Sir, one thing I would like to request you to elaborate as to the third point. Who are my role models and why?
Sure. Excellent. I will quote my own example here. When I was in my growing years, I used to always admire few personalities, from different domains, of course. And one domain I was really passionate for, one particular personality was Mr. Swami Vivekananda. Every one of us know. Then I started realizing why really I admired this personality. I could really decipher his personality in minute points. And what I understood about him is the massive impact that person has made on people's lives was the factor for which I was considering him as my role model. So I found about myself that this is the quality I value. Second, as an organization, I used to always admire Microsoft and Google. During my growing years and in professional life, I used to study these companies very well from closer point of view. And what I admired from Google is, their focus for innovation, their focus for bringing change at a large scale, coming out with products which impact at a larger scale, and at the same time having a fantastic work culture. These became my role models as organizations, and I also realized the reason why I consider them as role model. Now, having these role models, studying them in depth, following them in and out, further reinforced my understanding that okay, this is the reason I want to create my own vision for. Let me borrow these vision points from them and apply in my own life, in my own career. So Swami Vivekananda at a personal level and Google at an organizational level. These two role models have shared lots of wisdom to me, lots of insights to me, without they being known and they being aware of it, right? And therefore, I really insist each one of us to please look up to someone and find out the reasons why I admire this individual or this organization and what can I carry from them and use it for my own life to define my own vision.
Thank you, sir. Yes, yes.
Karan?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Great. So we will move ahead with the next point here. And this is a very tempting slide. You can see different apples on the screen. And I am sure you would have gathered the right learning from this slide. And without suspense, let me now put forth this point before you. Define your compelling USP, which is unique selling proposition. I can't emphasize more on this point. I can only say this is the age of more. And especially for professionals like us, there are ample options available with organizations. They might be our employers or they might be our clients. There are ample options available for them. How can I thrive? How can I stand out? That is the biggest question one can ask today. And moreover, during this crisis time, and especially after this crisis, every organization will give more and more emphasis and focus on either cost reduction or having only those people in place or those service providers in place who can add some unique value on table. And therefore, knowing our own unique selling proposition is super critical during this particular time. I need not really explain it. You can observe it based on real life examples why we opt for one service provider vis-a-vis other. The reason is the service provider communicates its USP very well. For example, again, let's use Google for this matter, our own favorite company. Their USP is very clear. They come up with the USP of search anything on the web and you will find the answer. And they have improvised their USP so many times. It is not that there were no competitors. There were competitors for search engine, but USP of Google was implemented as well as communicated very well. Let's take an example of possibly if you love the platform Zappos, because I use it quite frequently. They communicate their USP very well. They say, best return policy in the world. You buy something from us, if you don't like, return it, and we will not ask a single question to you. So their USP stands for best return policy in the world. Let's take another example, possibly LinkedIn, the platform that we use so frequently as professionals, right? What is the USP of LinkedIn? A single platform in the entire world which connect professionals, and they offer not only networking, but they create economic opportunities for professionals. It is unique. These factors help them stand out in the marketplace, and therefore we find them having monopoly in the marketplace. They stand out as red apples amongst all the green apples. And this is the need of the hour. What is your USP as an individual or as an organization? This is the question we can answer at this moment during this lockdown period. Let's use this time. And when I say USP, I would like to just share this one picture with you to make this concept very clear. It has to be unique. And if you observe on the screen, the red highlighted portion is your USP, your sweet spot. It is your best, what you can offer for your clients. They value it, but possibly your competition cannot offer. That intersection is your own unique selling proposition. How can we do that? It is a deep work for sure. Let me pose some questions before you to help you define your own unique selling proposition. This is the process where I have observed so many companies have evolved their own USPs. Which are those questions? One, what factors matter to the client most? I think you would have observed the first question pertain to my clients, because ultimately I am here to serve my clients or serve my organization. If I'm working professional, I'm working in an organization. My organization is my client, right? And if I am a firm, I am an organization myself. My clients are most important. So what factors matter to my clients the most? For example, do they value timeliness the most? Do they value a comprehensive advice the most? Do they value in-depth analysis the most? Or do they value one-stop solution at the most, which is their real need. Our work starts with this first question, because always clients come first. Then I come to my own strengths as an individual or as an organization. Do I have technical expertise as my strength? One. Or two, do I have a nimble team, very responsive team as my strength? Or three, do I have enough industry expertise as my strength? Or having a network of powerful, competent individuals is my strength? What is really my strength areas? It is important to analyze my own strength areas first on table. And of course, with that, what are my weaknesses? It is good to know my weaknesses. It is important to acknowledge my weaknesses. It is important to accept my weaknesses and see strengths and weaknesses side by side. We don't want to focus on weaknesses. We don't want to play with weaknesses. We want to play on my strengths. And then let me go and focus my attention on my competition. Who are my competition in the market? Who are my peers? Let me study them. Let me observe them. Let me study their websites, their dialogues, their communication, their people. Go deep and see what make them stand out. Why they are really considered valuable in the marketplace. Let me observe those points and note them down. If there is a clarity of my own strengths, what my clients want, and what my competition is doing the best, naturally, the next revelation will be, then what are my differentiators? If my competition is really known for their technical expertise, I may not really use that strength so powerfully. Let me use some other strengths of mine, possibly which is a very responsive team, a very responsive culture. That could be my strength. Let me capitalize on it. Let me communicate it very effectively to my clients and differentiate vis-a-vis my peers. I am going to play on my strengths, not on my weaknesses. That is the strategy here, and that is the starting point. If my competition is really very good in their network across the globe, possibly I may play on my niche expertise in a particular subject area, because that will help me stand out vis-a-vis my biggest competition. Because they may have network, but I have a deep expertise in one topic which they cannot compete. And that's how I will play on my strength again here. Believe me, having a clear USP and also communicating it very effectively is the reason for success in the marketplace in this competitive world. And after the crisis, we are going to experience this point more and more. Our client will ask this question to you and me. Why should I buy from you? Give me sufficient reasons. And that time, understanding of having a clear USP is only going to help us. I hope this point is enough explained. Now the key is that if you utilize this lockdown and answer these 4 powerful questions for yourself, possibly the result will be very different after the crisis or lockdown is over. I'll take a pause here and see if there are any points or additional comments from our panelists, or if they have any questions.
So hi mate, Shyam here.
Hi Shyam.
Hello, mate, can you hear me?
Yeah, Shyam. Yes, Shyam, I can hear you very clearly.
Hello. Yeah. So Meg, when we talk about USP, so all the questions, if we see what you have put down on the slide, it
Sure.
has to be answered from 2 perspectives. One, USP from the organization's perspective, I mean, if you're practicing, if you have your own office from organization perspective, and
Sure.
second from individual perspective.
Right.
So now
Very
when we
true.
say from individual perspective, so USP, do you mean that every person now has to define their area of specialization?
Very nice. I think it's a very good question, Sham. This is precisely the point we are leading towards. Unique selling proposition, it means let me first understand what my clients value the most and then relate that factor with my own strength. So if my own strength is a technical expertise, I will use this as my USP. If my clients value the timeliness, the fast delivery the most, I will use my fast responsive culture as my USP. So having a specialization area, that point is definitely going to come, but slightly this is different than defining my own USP. Sham.
Okay.
Here the focus is on focusing on my strengths, which value to my client the most, vis-a-vis my service area.
Okay. Okay.
Great. So, any other comments or thoughts, panelist team? Or we move ahead to the next point?
Sir, I think we'll move ahead.
Just to take
Sure.
ahead the same discussion, what question discussion we had. You gave an example of Google.
Correct.
Now, in a similar way, just to correlate with my entry. So, do about service tax, who is a specializes in service tax, or for that matter, GST. The immediate names that come to my mind is someone like Sagar Shah or someone like Pritam Ahure.
Sure.
So, can we say that these are the people who have earned that USP or earned that name in this field?
Very nice. I think this is a very good question. So let me decipher this question like this. When I say a subject matter expertise, of course, it's a specialty or a area of specialization for these organizations or these individuals. When I say USP, it means, at this moment, possibly these organizations or these individuals have gained their fame and name during the time when subject matter expertise was the most important thing for the client, right? Now, possibly the timing has changed, and today, whether client still value the subject matter expertise, whether it is really very scarce, whether it is really not available in abundance, or now the subject matter expertise is well settled, now the client wants a better service, a very well-defined internal controls on the subject matter expertise, a very responsive timeline. Whether these factors are more important to the client now in this situation, that I need to identify. And if I can I can serve my clients with these differentiating factors, because I may not be able to cater my clients with a very well-known subject matter expertise, but still I can cater my clients with other factors which they value the most, such as a timely update, a comprehensive advice, and a good network to serve them wherever they are. It clarifies, Sham?
Yes.
Because time to time,
Yes, Mick, thanks.
the USP factors may change, and we need to be current with the timelines.
Okay.
Great. Maybe this is now the interesting picture in front of all of you. I'm sure you will go with the right sequence while reading this slide. What do you see the first? Can I ask maybe one of the panelists here? In this slide, how do you read this slide basically?
Need new ideas?
Yeah, need new ideas.
Need new ideas. Fantastic. I think this is so self-explanatory. Need is the mother of invention, right?
Right.
We have heard this so many times. And this is the time now to apply this principle again. This is such a challenging time. This is such a crisis situation wherein needs come first and then new ideas and new solutions. And I want to bring forth this point very clearly to you. This is the time to go closer to my clients. This is the time to act with absolute client centricity and knowing their needs minutely. This time will not really come again and again. This is such a precious time to go closer to our own clients or other players in my client industry. This is the time to understand their pain points, their needs, their challenges, and then think, reflect, how can I help? How can I serve to their needs at this time? This is the time to build rapport with them. This is the time to act like a business advisor, a business partner to them. Although as professionals, we may be working in different capacities. Possibly we are only working for tax matters, accounting matters, consulting matters, advisory matters, accounting, auditing, so many. However, this is the time to think broader. This is the time to get into the shoes of our clients and understand what is their new need, what is their pain point. And in this lockdown, what can we do? Let's go through the action plan here. This is such a crucial point, and people and professionals who will use this point really very well, I'm confident they are going to build better client relationships, goodwill, as well as better referrals from our existing clients. Which are those action areas? First and foremost, proactively connect with each of our clients, each and everyone. If I am serving one client or I am serving 100 clients, it doesn't make any difference. Right now, let's use this lockdown to connect each and everyone and really assess following 3 points from them. A clear agenda. 1, how has COVID-19, meaning this particular crisis, impacted your business? Number 2, what are your new pain points, new needs? And number 3, knowing your needs, knowing your pain points, how can I serve you more? What are the new services I can offer you so that your pain point is served well? Your needs are catered well. These 3 questions, if we come in our minds, if we keep in our minds and then connect with each and every client, I'm sure we are going to invent. I'm using the word invent here specifically. We are going to invent, because if you observe the last line here on this slide, innovative approach, solutions, processes, new services, or even new models, new business models can emerge during this pressure point. I will only set one example here, and I'm sharing this example because it is so relevant here to share. One of my clients, who is an IT company, and they serve their clients in building ERPs. And we decided that the client is going to talk to each and every client to understand what is happening in their businesses. And the ERPs are generally used in education sector. So my client has called their clients, of course, course, just to understand what is happening in the education industry, what challenges they are facing, and what can now this company can do. And what they realized is all education companies are facing a challenge of conducting exams at this moment, because this was the exam time. And their clients, one particular big client was having thousands of students appearing for the exam, but they could not do it because of this lockdown. What can they do? The IT company here was open-minded. They understood the situation and they realized that if my own one client is facing this problem, possibly this is the industry problem everyone is facing, and it is so clear. They went back, they discussed with the team, and they decided to offer a new solution to their client, saying, let us try building an online exam platform for some of your students as a pilot. This is new for us. However, let us try, because we anyway know your business, your systems, your processes. Because we serve you ERP solutions, it is comparatively simple for us to also build something new which will cater to your present pain points. And this one approach, they have immediately started building, and in a week's time, they will be ready to offer this solution to their education client. It was absolutely new offering. It was absolutely value adding to the present need. And most importantly, it is in the same client segment. They did not really go out and scout for a very strange industry. Same client segment, but new offering and lucrative opportunity. And this is what it can make a difference when you really proactively connect with your clients and really understand their pain points, really act like business partners getting into the shoes of their own situation. I hope this point has been passed on, possibly may not be in at depth. However, the crux of the point has been passed on. Can I again take a small pause and just hear from our panelists if they find that this point makes real sense?
Right, sir. Now I really think that we need to keep our eyes open, and we never know when can a new opportunity come in. So basically, we are trying to solve a problem of our clients, but we never know when can a new segment can open in and where we can venture out. So this is one thing I think that no doubt there's a lockdown situation, no doubt we are facing it, but then use it as an opportunity.
Absolutely. Absolutely right. So nicely put. And let's use this lockdown period to connect with our clients. All right. So let's move ahead because we want to cover two important points here further. And this slide, I think it is so nicely presented, whoever has designed this graphic. The key to achieve massive results. Option 1, pursuing everything, each and everything. And I am using my energy to pursue 10 things at a time. Option 2, define one area for my own self for next 1 year, for my organization for next 1 year, and consolidate all my energies, at least most of my energies, in one direction, with fewer goals, with fewer objectives. I think with this approach, we can move and reach much farther than disbursing my energies everywhere at the same time. And therefore, the importance of focusing on one thing at a time gains a lot of importance, and especially now in this crisis time, because my clients are going to demand in-depth expertise from me. They are going to really ask me a question. Do you have substance to serve me? I don't need a general support. I don't need a very generic information. I want specific support and depth of expertise from you. This will be the new demand from each and every one of us, from our clients. And we need to be very choosy now. Where am I spending my time and energies? Where am I putting my resources? This is going to be the key question now. And therefore, this is my favorite line. Less is more. Lesser the focus areas, more that I can achieve. And therefore, I need to develop my ability to concentrate on one or very few things at a time. And I really love to call this as deep work, where I'm giving laser sharp focus on very few areas. Those areas might be, for example, developing my technical expertise on one topic and only connecting with those clients which will relate to that area of expertise, or developing my internal processes in depth to set my house in order. When I say house, it means my organization or my vertical or my practice or my career. Or it may be finding out collaboration possibilities and inking collaborations and associations with them. That can be one of my clear objectives. So the objectives may differ for everyone, depending upon the situation where you are right now. However, having a clear objective for the year makes all the difference. And biggest companies in the world have really grown this formula. Let me only take an example of Amazon here. Right now, we know Amazon for making available everything, whichever is possible in the world, at one platform. However, do you know how have they started and grown to this level? They started as an online platform to offer books online. A single focus, only books as a segment. They focused on one objective, one criteria of products, and really mastered that well. They built their platform, they fine-tuned their systems, processes, then moved to the next product segment, expanded further, and one by one, now we are seeing the Amazon offering everything possible. And therefore, it is said very well, success is sequential. It is not simultaneous. I think this one line makes it very clear. If you want to be really successful in the long run, we need to focus on one thing at a time, master it, prove it in the marketplace, build your name, build your platform, build your expertise, build your systems, and then move to the next. And by doing this one by one, possibly in 5 years' time, you will see you have grown in all the possible directions, but focusing on one thing, one objective at a time. So what can I do now during this lockdown on this particular point? Let's go through the action plan. 1, define areas you are going to focus on in next 1 year. Our vision was for at least 5 years, but here I am talking of 1 year because it is immediate term objective. And then make out a focus plan. That plan will have month by month objectives in place, month by month actions in place. And then most importantly, because we are not used to concentrate, right now we are really distracted in my opinion, we need to build our concentration muscle. How can I do that? By practicing time blocking. Allocating time for my focus area every single day and honoring that time. Even during lockdown, I will give 2 hours every day from now till the lockdown is over, and focus on defining my objectives during those 2 hours every single day. I will first define my objectives, and then I will make a plan, a focus plan, and I will honor my time block of 2 hours every single day. In effect, I am building my concentration ability, my muscle of focusing on one thing at a time. And if you really want to get on this point little deeper from knowledge perspective or from learning perspective, I will insist a book called Measure What Matters by Mr. John Doerr. It has really very well explained the concept of how we can really narrow down our focus, define very few objectives, and also define my actions which will support to my objectives. I'm sure this point is very clear now when I say less is more. Can we move further? Panelist team, are we okay to move further?
Sir.
Sure.
Sir, can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, Karan. Yeah.
Sir, we have one question from Rajesh sir.
Sure.
New may not be my USP. If it is not my USP, how can I give the solution? Actually, it was relating to the previous part, so I just thought I'll ask you now.
Okay. Karan, can we do one thing? We'll complete the presentation and
Yes, sir. Sure,
question. Will it be okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'll repeat it for you at the end.
Sure. Thanks, sir.
Any more questions from our panel members?
On this particular point of less is more or giving laser sharp focus. Okay. I think
Sir,
we can
we are
move
good to go. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Here comes the fifth, possibly the last one, as far as the importance is concerned. And I'm sure the slide will itself give lots of meaning to you. Here I say, this is the time to collaborate. This is the time to connect the dots. This is the time to link various pieces and offer something substantial. This is the time to collaborate, because if we don't collaborate, sorry to say, we will perish. This time needs collaboration. My client now want a comprehensive solution. They want an answer. They don't want knowledge. They want answers to their problems. They want to move ahead by solving their pain points. And therefore, if I say, sir, I can only do this for you, I'm only concerned for this, better you go out and find out solution on your own for other pieces. Possibly, my client will prefer a solution which gives a comprehensive answer. And now this is important to note here. Let us connect the dots here. One, when I say laser sharp focus, when I say subject matter expertise, it means I am going to offer one area, if that is my strength, if that is my USP, very prominently. And at the same time, I will get into the shoes of my client and see what are those missing pieces which will further complement to my expertise, and it will serve my client well. I need to now join hands with other complementary players in the industry, even if they are competitors to me, but for certain areas, they are complementary to me. Now this is the time to really surpass our fears, our reservations that, my competition will eat out my clients. This is the time to act, collaborate, come to an understanding, build right intercompany agreements, frameworks, non-compete clauses. There are so many mediums and ways to prevent this, right? But this is the time to collaborate, build on competencies of each other, you focusing on one area at a time prominently, other focusing on their own areas of expertise, and we collaborate and serving our clients well during this crisis time. This is the need of the hour. And I have studied globally also. Whenever there was a crisis situation, firms, organizations, individuals who have joined hands together, they survived and thrived. And people who worked in silos, they have perished. So this is the learning for us, an immediate action area to work on. What can we do during this lockdown for this? When I know my clients industry, and I connect with them at a one-on-one level, possibly I will be able to map out which are those which are they need a support, a complementary support. So mapping out becomes the first step. And then I will reflect, I will see my own network, I will see my own connections, I will see my own circle, and find out who can be the potential fit for me, with whom I can join hands and serve well and comprehensive to my clients. And this is the better time to really assess my network. This is the better time to have dialogues and really know those people well. Once I really map out my potential fits, now we have the time and mind space to have dialogues with them and know them at a deeper level. Understand them well. What are they doing? What are their value system? What is their working culture? Possibly what is their own professional vision? And whether it aligns to my thinking, my culture, my way of working, and my own professional vision. And if I see a commonality and alignment, what better time than this to really extend an offer or proposal to join hands? What better time than this to really use each other's strengths and build a better association to serve our clients? And this is going to be valued the most after the crisis is over. So let's use this time, let's use this lockdown and really go deeper in our own network, talking to our own clients and map the connecting dots. Possibly if you are really great in one particular area of our profession, say indirect taxes, and my clients now need an comprehensive support from system side. I mean, not only the advice on GST, but internal systems. Can I join hands with some technology service provider and merge our offering together? If I'm really specialized in one area of taxes, can I now see a possibility of joining hands with some business advisory firm which can add value along with my tax advice, a comprehensive advice? If I am a management consultant, can I join hands with a management coach or a business coach? And consulting and coaching put together can really add much more value to our clients during this crisis time. There are so many possibilities which may emerge if we are open-minded and if we really surpass our reservations and fears at a very lower level. I'm sure this point, again, I'm asking you to really expand your minds here at this point, because best of the collaborations have happened during crisis. the world economic history shows that, and especially for professionals. Here comes the next topic, of course, but I want to take a pause here because we have covered 5 areas for going to the next level of our profession to survive, sustain, and thrive. So if any questions, any comments, possibly we can take it right now,
Yeah.
relevant to the topic before.
Sir, taking back to the topic that we discussed now, like
Sure.
the collaboration, there's one view
Yeah.
that I have that basically we have an ample of time basically right now. And then there's a slide where we discussed that we need to focus now on our strengths and weaknesses. So what
Perfect.
I think is this is the right time to basically focus on our weaknesses. And then through collaboration, we can convert that weakness into strength. So we have couple. So that's what I think. And there's ample of time to basically, think about the possible agreements or the collaborations.
Very nice point. Absolutely bang on point. So I am playing on my strengths and I'm complementing to cover up my weaknesses and offer a better solution to my clients.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Fantastic point. Fantastic. Yeah. Some point. I think Rajesh has raised one point, Karan. Right? You mentioned. We take that point and then move.
Yes, sir. Should I read it back again for you?
Yeah.
Yes. His question was, new needs may not be my USP. If it's not my USP, how can I give the solution?
Yeah. Sorry, you said new.
New needs. New needs.
New needs. Okay, fantastic. I think
Yes, sir.
such a timely question. The answer is collaboration.
Yeah.
So the new need in the market is not my USP. What can I best do is to search, to find, to assess who can be my potential fit for association, and then joining hands with them and go back to the client saying, because I know you, we have a rapport. I know your history, I know your value system, and now I have joined hands with this service provider. We together will serve you much better now. Don't you think this will really be valued by the client, this particular approach?
Right.
Yes, sir. Surely, sir.
So there's
So
one
we
more
have
question.
one more question.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Sir, Parag Rathi sir is asking, multi-dimensional CA firms may need to focus on multiple things at one go. Focusing
Sure.
energy on one is okay for single chamber practice firms. Your take
Sure.
on this, sir?
Fantastic. Good that Parag has really shared this point. When we say focus at one thing at a time, we say if we are a multidisciplinary firm, let us first define our priorities for the firm as a whole. If my priority for the firm is to develop one practice prominently and to maintain other practices, I'm going to reprioritize my objectives for at least 1 year and giving more energies and focus on developing that one practice prominently. I will put most of my time and energies as a founding partner or a key person to contribute in developing that one practice. And of course, my other partners maintain my other practices and this maintain at least the status quo. So we need to possibly relook at our priorities and take up only 2 or 3 maximum priorities for the firm as a whole, and then realign our energies, realign our focus areas, map out who will do what and who will focus on what. Possibly that will help me prioritize one thing at a time and also having individual focus for everyone. Does it make sense?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, panel members, do you have any other question? Rohit sir, Shyam sir, Anup?
Sir, I have a question.
Sure.
Like coming back to the collaboration point, the thing is that there can be many short-term collaborations out here, like due to this epidemic and pandemic that we are facing. But then what we should do to ensure that these short-term collaborations go ahead with the healthy collaborations and for a long duration of time. So what are the care that we may need to take, and what are the precautions that we need to take?
Wow, very nice question again. Thanks for asking this. In the history, every long-term collaboration has started with a casual association first, or a very short-term association first. And the history is very clear. 75% of the mergers, high-level mergers have failed in the past. Why so? Because before getting into the serious business of merger or collaboration, they have not tested each other well. In fact, this is the time, it's an opportunity to first test the waters well by working together on immediate need. Let's work together, understand each other, try to assess value systems, whether we align with each other or not, by working casually with each other, basically a very loose form association, and then evaluate whether we are meant for longer term solid collaborations in future. So in fact, this is an opportunity to test the water during this crisis time.
Yes, sir.
Great.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Any other questions, team, from any participants or audience at this moment?
Sir, I think we are good to go.
Okay, great. Possibly we'll have again last 5 minutes to again cover any questions that may come up during the discussion. And now, this time has really, because we are in this health epidemic, I mean, economic prime example, a very clear example of this particular principle, that the greatest wealth starts with health. And I need not really explain it further. And I would really request Nilima now to take the seat and brief all of us what we can do as an individual during this time to take care of our health during this crisis situation. So I invite Nilima to please now address all of us here.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for inviting me on the platform here.
Hello.
Yeah, you
Ma'am,
can hear
just a
me.
second. I'll just do a brief introduction and then you can continue, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes. To all the viewers of this video, let me introduce Mrs. Nilima Dungarwal, ma'am. She is Masters in Pharma from BITS Pilani, a health professional and also a German language expert. So with this brief introduction, I would like to hand over to Nilima, ma'am, so that to continue with the session. Ma'am, please.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much, Karan. So good evening, everyone, and thank you for inviting me on such a super platform here. So as we know, we are going through a crisis of COVID-19. So here health plays important role now onwards. So I've come up with a formula that is FEMS solution. That is the 4 things.
Ask Karan to show the screen.
Karan, you can see the screen? Yeah. So this is a wellness chakra that has come up with a...
Ma'am, the screen is working perfectly fine. You can continue.
Okay, thank you. So this is FEMS solution. So the 4 areas which are important in our life, that is food, exercise, our mindset, and sleep. So coming up, starting with our food. Right now, if we see in this lockdown, I've come up with some healthy food stuff, like you can say magic food, which make wonders in our health. That is, first of one is garlic. What this garlic does is it increases our zinc absorption in body, which stimulates the antibodies in our body. And so antibodies are the things which fight with viruses, bacteria, any foreign thing coming in our body. So for staying immune, raising our immunity level, garlic is very important. Second one is ginger. Ginger was, as it is a breathing virus, so ginger is also very important. It gives good throat immune. So no virus or bacteria will stay in throat for longer if you have ginger. Then third one, it is turmeric. Turmeric is a natural anti-inflammatory antibiotic. It has several, like neem is considered as a wonder tree. Like it has so many good nutrition in it. Similarly, turmeric is one which has come up with great nutritional value, and it increases our immunity to a great extent. So the third one is turmeric. Turmeric you can have with warm milk, as it is known as golden milk. To have it twice a day is recommended. So it is good. You can have turmeric with shots in. You can have it in your kadhas. We take daily kadhas, like boiling up all the spices and mixing turmeric with it. The fourth food would be black chana. The chana is like what we call futana. Black chana with good. It increases. It is a food, the chana. It has protein, calcium, nutritional value, carbohydrates, everything in a chana. So having a handful of chana will give you a good immunity in this crisis time. And eventually also this could be followed in a daily routine. Then coming up is tulsi. Naturally, it is available in every house. We have a tulsi plant in every house, so we can have some leaves every day. Say 3-4 leaves can be taken by an individual. So then next coming up is the fifth one. That is veggies. Eating veggies and seasonal fruits. Now eating seasonal fruits is so important. If we see in market, all the fruits are available throughout the year, but they don't provide that much nutrition to our body. So it is very important to have only seasonal fruits, because our body is so designed that according to season only that fruit will give us that benefit which is needed. Otherwise it would give us more of the side effects than giving the good effects of the fruits. And veggies, eating green veggies, leafy veggies, eating all the veggie stuff, that is all know that is so healthy and important to have in our daily routine. So that is with the food thing. And then going up with exercise. Exercise, now see, to develop any habit, it is said that it takes 21 days to come up with a habit. So in this lockdown period, we eventually have now more 21 days. So we can just develop a habit. Say it could be exercising daily, then you can fix a time key. In this time I would exercise. It could be anything. Say jogging in a place, breathing heavily, practicing pranayam. In that you can have Kapalbhati, Anulom Vilom, Bhastrika, the 3 main pranayam. You can practice it daily for 15 minutes. You can do yogas, any of the yoga steps like Surya Namaskar. You can have many asanas coming up with yogas. Now, as it is lockdown, we cannot go outside. So I won't suggest running and all in this period, but yeah, you can do it at home. So practicing this daily, what happens with exercise, our immunity increases in our body. The good hormones are treated daily exercise. So daily exercise makes a good change in our daily routine. And now, as this is lockdown, it is very feasible. Like it is easy for us to set a routine of daily exercise. Going forward, now our mindset, which I feel is most important. Now in mindset, if you see, we are almost surrounded every day with many viruses, bacteria around us. And now if you see our cough and cold viruses, they are every day present with us. They get active only when our immunity gets down. And how our immunity gets down, we feel a little down. Our mind thinks, oh, I might get cold, I might. That thinking of disease makes you less immunized and makes the virus or the bacteria stronger. So this mindset is very easy. You can see mind is like a muscle. The more you use, more it gets stimulated. So 90%, if you say 90% of the disease, they come to us by our mindset. So if we think that we are immune, say to yourself, I am best, I am healthy, I am strong. Rather than saying no negative things, try saying positive things in the mind. So use it wisely. Mind is our muscle, we can use it wisely. We also have negative mind and positive mind. If we focus more on our positive mind, we can change it easily. So 50%, say if you say, taking an example, when you are ill and you are going to go to a doctor, now the feeling that I'm going to go to doctor and doctor is going to give me a medicine, 50% of your disease is cured at the time when your mind has thought ki now I am getting cured by doctor's medicine. Now many of the examples, many of the research have already done in many universities that two similar patients are treated. One is given the medicine and another is given placebo. That is, there is no main medicine in it, just a tablet made up of sugar or some coating. But the patients are not told that they are not taking a medicine. Now, both the patients are getting cured, even which is taking medicine and which is not. So our mind has worked there very good when even without medicines, we can get cured. So I would suggest that we can practice this by this mind as to live a medicine-free life in our daily routine. So our mind plays a very important role. Moving further, the fourth one, that is sleep. The last, but it's the most important. I would say sleep is nature's Botox, or you can say detox. Sleep is sleep is a nature's gift to us. It is the only time when our body gets rejuvenated. Our all cells get repaired, the damaged things go out, toxins are eliminated, and you feel fresh if you have a good night's sleep. Now, ideally, it is said that you should have 7 to 9 hours of good sleep. That good sleep means deep, good wave sleep. That is, see, only sleeping for 7-8 hours is not so important, but having a good sleep, how much time you are in deep sleep, you are not restless, you are not thinking of anything else, that is what sleep is important. Now, the last thing I would tell, in this lockdown period, in this 21 days, what we can immediate start is practicing good breath. That is just focusing on breathing in and breathing out. Spending a minute to just see that we are breathing in and breathing out makes us alive, that we are alive on this earth. We are present. We are not in any other condition, but we are in our present moment, neither in past nor in future, but in present. And that's what is more important. In this lockdown period, what we can do is practicing this good breath. Also, now what happens is we tend to eat more. As we are at home, we want to eat every time we are feeling hungry. What we can do is, whenever we are hungry, we can try what? Say a lemon juice, or we can try some kada, so that what will happen? Our hunger will get satisfied with this liquid thing. Staying hydrated is more important. Now, as the summer is also rising, we are facing heat. To challenge that heat, water is most important thing. So staying hydrated is very important. So try taking this kadas regularly, try drinking warm water, focus on positive mindset. You can also practice doing a practice, thanking everyone. So just practicing a gratitude journal. So thank everyone, thank your family, your peers, your friends. Try and connect with your old friends as we have time in this lockdown period. So speaking with old friends, you'll speak out your mind so that nothing in mind gets collected. You just feel free. So practicing these 4 things in our life will make a great change. So thank you, everyone. This was my just short input for our health tips. Any questions regarding this? Regarding this FEMS solution, that is food, exercise, mindset, and sleep.
I have a question.
Yes.
Often we face a lot of disagreements in our life that results in anxiety. What is the
Right.
best solution to overcome that anxiety?
Right now, see this anxiety, as you have said, this is I can more often it could be related to stress. Say some stress things or say disheartening thing happens and we get stressed or depressed. So I would say that stress is unavoidable. We cannot avoid it, but yeah, we can make situations or make such conditions that how we can fight against this stress. There could be some say it could be you can speak with your friends. If not friends, you can just maintain a diary or you can just note out everything or pen down on a paper, and just it is not to show anyone. You can just pen down on a paper and let it go. With this, what happens is you just whatever was in your mind or whatever you were thinking that this is not in my favor, this is say against me, you will just focus that I have written it and it is gone out of my mind. When your mind works there, you will now then focus on what new things can happen, what new ideas can come in, what you can then see to the positive aspect of that thing. Rather than looking at the negative things, we can then focus on negative things. For that, best practice would be just for a minute you can then focus on your breathing. That is, you can just breathe in and out slowly and feeling that yeah, I am in my present moment, I am alive, I am, even if I am stressful, I am coming out of that. If you think that positively, you can eventually come out of it. You can just practice it for a minute and see the results.
Okay.
In this, you can
Thank you.
practice in your everyday life. You can
Yes.
see the results surely.
Yes. Thank you.
Ma'am, we have one similar question from one of our participants watching it online. Solution to anxiety and resultant stress.
Yeah, anxiety and resultant stress. Okay. First thing is, I would say, change your mindset. The first thing is have a positive mindset. Now, I can give an example. If say there are 2 glasses half filled with juices. One mindset says the glass is half filled. Yeah, one says it is half filled, and the other says the glass is half empty. Now, if you see the examples, one is half empty, one is half full. The positive mindset says, okay, it is still half full, I have something. And the negative mind says, oh, it is just half empty, I have nothing in me. So getting into positive mindset is important. Then speaking with someone, have a buddy. If not buddy, speak just with walls. Not walls, just pen it down. Speak what was in your mind. Then most important, focus on your breathing patterns. Try just 5 minutes of meditation. If not possible for meditate to too longer, try just 5 minutes of meditation. That is just focusing on your breathing in and breathing out. Nothing. The thoughts will come on. You cannot avoid them. But again, you can say your mind, no, I am just focusing on breathing in and breathing out. Even the thoughts come, and practicing, you can practice a gratitude journal, thanking everyone, thanking the whole universe. Even this corona, we can thank this coronavirus also. It has taught us many new things in our life. It has taught us how we can unite. We are staying together with the family. We are coming. We are getting in touch with our old friends. We are having good more talks, positive talks. So I would say it is more of a good virus teaching us new things.
Even
Agree? Do you agree with me?
Yes, no, absolutely, absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah.
Being negative about corona, it is better. Why not to have a positive mindset that okay, what I can do more in this 21 days? You can just have a hobby. You can spend an hour's time that you like to do in our whole day. Even if we are doing some online sessions or working online, working from home, we are studying, but we can spend at least an hour for our hobby things, so that we get out of that stress. What everyday stress is coming in, for that hour we feel okay, I am out of it. Can we practice it also? Yeah, any more questions?
No, I think we are done. Right, Anup? Anup, do you have anything?
No. There's one question that we have online by Jugal sir. So he's asking if there's any alternate to garlic that we can have in our meals.
Yeah, we can have. One thing I want to mention is lemon. If you have half a lemon squeezed into warm water along with honey every day, it also immunizes good. And garlic was one thing, but the substitute which I have told, turmeric, then jaggery with black chana, and then ginger. These all are very good foods. Even having seasonal fruits. So garlic is just one thing wherein it has showed positive effects in this time in corona. So I would suggest that you can take it as a medicine. See, there are many people who doesn't like to eat garlic, who don't eat garlic at all, but you can take it as a medicine. It will just strengthen your immunity. Garlic is the thing. It also dilate your blood, so you don't have heart problems, cholesterol problems. So you can fight with many things. But yeah, eventually lemon is also showing good effects. Turmeric is showing amazing effects. You can try on those things. Amla is there, citrus fruit. It's a wonder fruit. You can just try on eating amla candies or say chips, any amla solutions.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Sir, before moving on
So
to the,
I'm sure that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir,
Sorry,
please.
Karan. So I would just that I was saying to day-to-day routine dry problems, isn't it, Karan?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that was on a lighter note, but yes, health is a priority right now, and that is the reason we have brainstormed with Karan and team that let us combine these two topics, because on one topic we are talking about career wellness or professional wellness. It needs to be supported by personal wellness. I mean, this time demands for that, isn't it?
Absolutely, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sure. So, any more questions, Karan? We have received any more questions?
Sir, before going on to that thing, I would just like to summarize the whole session in brief for our viewers, so that
Sure.
we recollect, and maybe then we can have some questions from the viewers side, or maybe me, Anup, and Shyam sir might ask you something. So in the initial first part
Sure.
of a session, that is professional 2.0, the first mantra, first thing that we saw was that I need to define my vision. Number two, we saw that I need to define my USP. Number three, we understood that I need to know my client's needs, as well as what do I provide and what I should be providing. I need to be aggressive in that thing also. So we need new ideas.
Okay.
Next, number four, we saw that less is more. And I guess this was a very beautiful learning, which we have obviously heard it somewhere before this session too. But the crux of it, or the thing per se, comparing with the profession right now, we have understood it very beautifully, sir, with your session. And the last one, we saw that we need to collaborate. We need to use this time to collaborate. And I guess at the professional forums, we are doing nothing but that particular thing, maybe just 10% of it right now. But then, yes, I am glad that we as a team are working for it, and even letting this platform be for the purpose of sharing knowledge and experience also. Moving on to the part two, that is Wellness 360 degree. Again, we saw first thing that the FEMS formula, which ma'am very beautifully described for us. First one being food, that I need to eat to nurture my body and not to just feed my emotions. Moving on to number two, we learned that we need to exercise. Number three, use our mind wisely. So I think exercise will include our physical exercise also, as well as mental exercise also. Only then we'll be able to use our mind wisely and execute the things properly. Then, and the last one is I need to have a sound sleep, which many of us miss out during our office days, maybe due to pressure, maybe due to anxiety or stress, even the lockdown days. So that is what we have understood from your session, sir, and it was definitely a beautiful learning. Before going ahead, I will hand it over to you, and let's see if we have some questions so that we can discuss it over here.
Absolutely. Very well summarized, Kiran. I think these are the key precious points we want to really deliberate here. Yeah. So any questions we can cover right now, or I want to then just kind of take the last thing on agenda, and then we can conclude. So any more questions, or Karan, we move forward?
Yes, we can move
Sir,
forward.
I think you can proceed with the further part. If there are any questions coming up, I'll ask you at the end. I'll
Sure.
put it before you at the end. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So very quickly, I mean, this is on a lighter side, but a real fact, an actual fact. You know, there was a research on human learning, and what it shows, average of 50% of the information received in a training is forgotten within 1 hour. After 24 hours, 70% is gone. And within a week from now, 90% of the information nowhere to be found. So this is, I am not saying this, the research has shown this. We don't want this to happen, right?
Right, right. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes,
And
sir.
if at all we make any difference, that will happen through actions.
Yeah.
Because only action fixes the understanding. I mean, that is the one thing. I mean, you know, because I always focus on less is more. If I want to summarize my own presentation here, my key point to pass on here with all of our viewers today is, please take action. And what better time than this lockdown to take these actions? I don't think this kind of mind space we will receive or we will gain in near future after lockdown. So why not really use this time wisely, utilize this time with focus, decide our action plan, decide our strategic objectives, decide our vision for life, and really see some substantive results and progress in only few months' time. I think this is the time for action, and therefore I would like to really conclude, as far as my presentation is concerned, I would like to conclude by again reiterating these two words, powerful words: take action.
So, Meek, before we conclude, one more thing.
Yeah.
So,
Sure.
in one of your posts, the post that you have been posting on LinkedIn, beautiful post, you have beautifully explained about paralysis. You are explained about where you are getting a lot of information, but analysis paralysis is what you had put about. So if you see, I get almost every day 4 to 5 messages about some webinars, some con calls, or some YouTube live things. One of the cultures managing almost 4 shows every day. So in this time, we should actually, detach ourselves from these things and just focus on what we want to process of whatever information we are gathering.
So nice. Very nice, Shyam. I mean, thanks for sharing this. I mean, you really touched upon a crucial point here. We need to avoid analysis paralysis now. And therefore, too much of information is also, not so useful, right?
Yeah. It rather clutters your mind.
Yeah, absolutely. We don't want to get confused. We need limited information, but actionable information. I think that is the key.
True.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Shyam, for adding this.
Thanks for a very nice session, Meg. It was full of good insights. And with your actions, we have some good task, interesting task on our hand during this lockdown time.
Yes, sir. Just to add, basically, like I think the last session that I had, and this code is taken from there. So it's like in theory, practical and theory is the same. In theory, practical and theory is the same, but in practical, theory and practical is different. So this is what I think the key point is. You need to take actions. Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. Absolutely. I mean, I would like to quote here something. The only difference between success and failure, and it is very well said, the only difference is action. Yeah. Any more question, comments, thoughts? A panelist team here, a very nice panelist team who are so nice to contribute at a very relevant time during the session.
So there are a lot of appreciations coming in for these speakers, you and Nilima ma'am, that one of which is that proper issues discussed at proper time in a lucid manner. And at this point of time, many of them were looking for such a topic so that they should be able to utilize their time in a more, you can say, beneficial way or something. So I guess with your help, we are able to reach to all of them, sir.